again, I had the misfortune of stumbling across a clip from MSNBC, and this is Chuck Todd, and he's interviewing the deputy mayor of the Ukrainian city of Mariupol. And I just wanted to play you a tiny clip. Again, you guys have to forgive me for subjecting you to this, but seriously, pay attention to what the mayor is saying, okay?
Confident you can continue this resistance, and for how long?
I should tell that from a military point of view, of course, Ukrainian army, Azov Battalion are brave and try to defeat up to the end, so up to the last battle.
Did you hear that? I'm going to play it again. Listen to what he said.
And for how long?
I should tell that from a military point of view, of course, Ukrainian army, Azov Battalion are brave and...
What? He said Ukrainian army and Azov Battalion. When I heard this clip originally, I was eating and I had to do like a triple take. I was like, what? My ears must be playing tricks. I mean, played it like 3-4 times. Listen, he's saying that.
I should tell that from a military point of view, of course, Ukrainian army, Azov Battalion are brave and try to...
Yeah, you know, the Ukrainian army and those Nazis over there, don't mind them. They're really brave. Everybody is really brave here, right? Including the Nazis, which I'm specifically highlighting. They have no shame. They have no shame. And did you notice the transcript? I don't know why this happened, but it's not there. It doesn't say Azov Battalion. Look at the transcript on YouTube. It says, from military point of view, the Ukrainian army is brave and will defend up to the last bullet. No. He didn't say the Ukrainian army. He said the Ukrainian army, the Azov Battalion are very brave. He said Azov Battalion. Why is it removed from the transcript or not appearing there? That's a bit weird, right? Why would YouTube do that? Aren't the Azov Battalion the guys that we're supposed to be cheering on now in the West, apparently, according to Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, who have now allowed praise of these Nazis, right? Interesting. Because, again, this, according to Reuters, emails also showed that Meta, which is Facebook, would allow praise of the right-wing Azov Battalion, which is normally prohibited. Yeah, you know, glorifying Nazis is normally prohibited, but apparently now there's an exception. Like, this is what's so hilarious, because they want to tell you that there are no Nazis in Ukraine, and, you know, I mean, obviously it goes without saying that most people in Ukraine are not Nazis. Of course not. But you cannot deny that these groups exist. Right Sector, C-14, Azov Battalion, they're growing, and you have people in the Ukrainian government, even if they're at the level of the mayor or otherwise, or the Ukrainian National Guard, who are working with them, supporting them, enabling them. And this is the second mayor that we've seen now. I just showed you the other day, there was another mayor, Ukrainian mayor, who was doing an interview with CBS, I believe it was. And he had a portrait behind him of Stepan Bandera, right? So that guy, he was a Ukrainian nationalist and a Nazi collaborator. And he killed Poles, he killed Jews, he was part of the Holocaust, and you know, this Ukrainian mayor has a picture of him, of this Nazi collaborator, of this guy who killed Poles and Jews, just hanging there casually behind him, and he's being interviewed on PBS, and they don't mention it. Like, it's just so casual, you know? You know, why don't you just go hang a picture of Himmler while you're at it? You know, why stop at Bandera? Have you got Goering as well? Maybe a little Dr. Goebbels to go with your collection? I mean, nothing. It's just normal. Yeah, of course these people celebrate Nazis. What's wrong with that? So this guy here, right? The mayor of Konotov, he's got Bandera behind him. This deputy mayor of Mariupol, just casually glorifying the Azov Battalion. I mean, how, like, where does this end? Because we have social media companies telling us now that it's okay to not just call for Russians to be killed, but to glorify literal fucking Nazis. And we have government officials, Ukrainian officials, coming on Western TV and celebrating Nazis, either with portraits or verbally, praising Nazis, and they don't say anything. Like, I'm gonna play the rest of the clip. Tell me in the comments, do you think Chuck Todd interrupted him and asked him, what's the Azov Battalion? Why are you praising them? You think he did that? Hell no, he didn't. Take a look yourself. It never came up.
An army, Azov Battalion, are brave and try to defeat up to the end, so up to the last bullet. I am absolutely sure in it. But and all the world and US citizens know that we don't have any weapon to protect our lives from the air. So Putin and his army are flattening the city and destroying all the civil infrastructure. That's why we do not know how to protect from air bombing, for example. But humanitarian situation is really awful, and we need food, we need water, and our citizens want to receive humanitarian help, but it's not possible because of continuous shelling and bombing from Russian army.
Do you feel as if the West should be doing more to help you right now?
We are very thankful for all the efforts that...
There you go. Feel free to watch the whole interview and suffer. I'm not going to subject you to that, but I can assure you they made no mention of what the Azov is. And again, for those of you who are not familiar, I can show you some pictures of these very fine human beings. I'm obviously being sarcastic. Here's their symbol, which they wear proudly. Again, this is a Nazi symbol. It's called a Wolfsangel. It's just totally normal. Totally normal now. This is the level that liberals have stooped to. They're normalizing Nazis, rehabilitating Nazis, saying, oh, Hitler wasn't so bad. Oh, those Nazis over there in Ukraine, we're just going to turn a blind eye. This is the level that they stoop to just to antagonize Russia. Like, this is who they are. And you're seeing their true colors, that they don't mind this stuff. I mean, wow. I want to show you this tweet over here. This was from Glenn Greenwald. He says, everyone in the United States with a MAGA hat is deemed a literal Nazi who you're supposed to punch and or imprison. But liberals see actual real-life Nazis in Ukraine and either swoon with admiration, arm them, or call you a Kremlin agent for wondering if this might work out poorly. Yep. And underneath here, Glenn points out that this figure, who's become sort of a star now, Ilya Ponomarenko, is an actual supporter and declared so-called brother in arms with the Azov Battalion, the neo-Nazi Azov Battalion. And they just portray it as heroic now. And Glenn correctly points out, of course it's false that a majority of Ukrainians or Ukrainian officials are neo-Nazis. No one is saying that. No one is saying that. I'm not saying that. Glenn is not saying that. No one is saying that. But you cannot deny that they wield, the minority who are Nazis wield extraordinary influence and are setting the stage, right? As Glenn says, these militia groups are a significant force in the Ukrainian military. Again, they're officially incorporated in the Ukrainian military. They're not just like some group operating by themselves. And, quote, as part of the repressive climate of war propaganda, this can no longer be said. But the Western press long warned of it. And that's true. You and I, we watched this documentary just the other day. We were looking at how it was produced by NBC, right? So even they were showing how you have these training camps for children to like indoctrinate them with this far-right nationalism in Ukraine. And of course, it was okay to say that before, up until the crisis started now. But now you can't say that anymore because you're going against the war effort, right? You're questioning the propaganda. So you can't do that. And that's why they remove films like Ukraine on Fire, so Oliver Stone's film. And again, I interviewed the director, Igor Lopatonok, and I'll have the interview up just shortly for you. They removed his film from YouTube, from Vimeo, and that's how they do. They censor it. So people don't understand that you do have neo-Nazis in Ukraine. You do have an issue with nationalism, and it's quite a potent one. It's not a joke to be taken lightly. So again, just casual rehabilitation again on Western media of these guys, and it's no different. Again, it reminds me of when you would watch about Syria, and they would they just try to whitewash these jihadists as moderate rebels, and Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You remember how George Bush butchered that quote? You get the idea, though.